This story begins in 2022. At a Philippines airport, we see dozens of criminals who fled from South Korea to hide in the Philippines. Philippine police caught them all and began sending them back on a plane to their homeland. But as soon as they arrived at the airport, a victim's family member attacked them, seeking revenge for his family's death. Before police could stop him, he detonated a bomb on himself. The blast killed many of the most dangerous criminals. The story now jumps to 2022, when Philippine police caught 20 criminals who had fled from South Korea to the Philippines. This time, police decided to transport them by cargo ship to South Korea, fearing another attack by victim families like the one before. Since these prisoners were extremely dangerous, the mission was assigned to Philippine Special Forces. An officer named Lee was made leader of this mission. Among them was a prisoner who had murdered 20 women and felt no regret whatsoever. His name was Park. He was the most dangerous of all. When Park saw Lee, he mocked him. When Lee tried to silence him, Park spat in his face. Lee's patience snapped. He beat Park severely. Meanwhile, at Seoul Police Headquarters, an officer named David was briefing his team. Their job was to monitor the ship carrying all these prisoners back to South Korea. On the ship, prisoners were paired up and locked in separate cells. A guard was posted in each cell to watch over them. Then Lee explained the ship's rules to all the prisoners. None of them were happy about it. They all protested together. But one prisoner sat completely calm, as if none of this concerned him. His name was Tom. He was different from the rest. We then see the women's compartment, where all female prisoners were held. Among them was a prisoner named Jenny, who was extremely cunning and dangerous. She had murdered her husband and his parents, earning her a life sentence. A female officer named Mary was assigned to watch them. Meanwhile, we meet Dr. Max on the ship, who is briefing his assistant Ella about her duties. David knew that transporting such dangerous criminals so far would surely lead to trouble. So Max and Ella were included to handle any medical emergencies that might occur on board. While Max and Ella were arranging their supplies, Dr. Max secretly stole a special drug that knocks out patients. We then see the ship's kitchen, where many people are cooking food for the entire crew. Dr. Max passes through the kitchen and enters the engine room. Here we learn that Dr. Max has been tasked with sedating a prisoner named Alpha, a brutal criminal. David assigned this task to Max because he wanted Alpha to remain in deep sleep throughout the journey. If Alpha wakes up, everyone on this ship is guaranteed to die. Only Officer David and Dr. Max know where Alpha is hidden. Even Lee, the mission leader, knows nothing about Alpha. We then see David at headquarters, reviewing classified documents. Here we learn that Alpha is a war prisoner. David placed him on the ship for a specific purpose. That night, Park pulls a small wire from his mouth that he had hidden under his tongue. He uses it to pick his handcuffs and then passes the wire to his cellmate so he can also free himself. We then return to the ship's kitchen, where the cooks are preparing for a dangerous attack. They are not cooks at all. They are Park's accomplices. They killed the real cooks and stole their identities to board. After freeing himself, Park lures the guard close with an excuse, then attacks and kills him. He hides the body in the ship's cold storage. Meanwhile, Park's accomplices get to work, killing the remaining staff and heading straight to the ship's control room. They storm the control room, killing the captain and cutting all communication wires so the officers cannot contact headquarters. When Officer Lee finds the crew's bodies, he immediately realizes the prisoners have attacked. He gathers his team, and they head to the control room. In the control room, Park's men attack them, but Lee and his team fight back fiercely, killing all of Park's men in the control room. Here, Mary notices a dying crew member. He is in terrible condition, about to die at any moment. Mary asks him if there's any way to contact headquarters. He tells her about a satellite phone in the engine room. Meanwhile, Park has killed all guards and freed the remaining prisoners. His plan is to hijack the ship and take it to another country. But Tom, whom we saw earlier, refuses to join the plan. Park warns him that this mistake will cost them their lives. Park ignores his warning and decides to kill the remaining guards and seize control of the ship. He and his men head to the engine room, where he orders his accomplice Kunv to dump the police bodies into the cold storage, but they don't know the drain pipe in the cold storage is leaking. Blood from the dead bodies drips straight onto Alpha's face. The blood drops wake Alpha from his deep sleep. He begins trying to free himself. Meanwhile, Lee and his team reach the cells and are horrified by what they see. Lee realizes Park and his men will head to the engine room searching for the satellite phone. Lee rushes to the engine room with his team. Park also arrives and destroys the satellite phone, then starts killing crew members. Before he can kill another, Lee and his team arrive. A fierce battle breaks out between the two groups. Many of Park's men are killed in the shootout. The remaining prisoners flee for their lives. Alpha has also freed himself and reaches the engine room. His eyes are sewn shut, but he can sense heat to see. His sense of smell is also incredibly sharp. He is many times stronger and faster than any normal human. Seeing his men die, Park tries to escape. But Alpha blocks his path and kills his remaining men. Alpha then approaches Park and brutally kills him. The survivors flee in terror. Tom distracts Alpha, giving everyone a chance to escape through a steel door. They seal. It's shut before Alpha can reach them. We then see David trying to contact his team on the ship. When he gets no response, he uses satellite imagery to see what's happening on board. He is shocked to see all crew members dead on the ship. Just then, a man calls David and tells him everything that happened on the ship. This man goes by the nickname Director. He has the same symbol on his chest as Alpha, meaning they are connected. Here we learn that Director is David's boss. It was on his orders that Alpha was hidden on the ship and brought to South Korea. Meanwhile, two crew members try to escape using a lifeboat, but before they can jump into the water, Alpha appears and brutally kills them both. Ella, Dr. Max's assistant, watches everything from the cabin gate. But before she can save herself, Alpha attacks and strangles her to death. Witnessing all this, Dr. Max panics and flees the cabin. He runs into Lee and his team. Lee threatens him and demands to know about Alpha. Max admits he was paid to sedate Alpha, but he doesn't understand how Alpha woke up after such high doses. Lee tells his team to hide while he searches for any survivors. We then see a prisoner named Kunv, who wanders into the women's section where the female prisoners are held. Kunv frees Jenny and her companions. They try to escape together, but Alpha appears and attacks them. All the prisoners in that area are killed in the attack. Jenny and Kunv barely make it to the elevator and try to escape. Alpha chases them and jumps on top of the elevator. Hearing the noise, Officer Lee rushes over and manages to pull Jenny out. But before he can save Kunv, the elevator cable snaps and it plummets down. Kunv dies in the fall. Lee thinks Alpha might have been crushed too, but Lee has no idea what Alpha is truly capable of. He hides Jenny in the cold storage and goes to fight Alpha alone. He opens fire on Alpha, but the bullets have no effect. Lee manages to cut off one of Alpha's arms. But even then, Alpha overpowers him. After a brief struggle, Lee finally gives up. Alpha brutally kills him. Alpha then searches for Jenny and reaches the cold storage. Seeing Alpha, Jenny lies down among the dead bodies, pretending to be dead. Her luck holds because the freezer's cold masks her body heat. Alpha doesn't detect her and leaves. Meanwhile, Lee's remaining teammates reach the room where Alpha was held, along with Tom. During their search, Mary finds special documents revealing that Alpha is extremely old. He was a Japanese soldier who came to the Philippines in 1943 on a mission. Unfortunately, the Philippine Army captured Alpha and his comrades, then performed various experiments on them to create a superhuman army during the war. Meanwhile, Dr. Max finds information about Alpha on a laptop. It reveals that Alpha possesses many superhuman powers. He is completely different from any normal human. He feels no pain and does not age. We then see a flashback to 1943 when Philippine Army doctors were celebrating their completed experiment. Suddenly, Alpha wakes up and destroys the entire lab, killing anyone who tries to stop him. Meanwhile, Officer David arrives at the ship with a special forces team. Before landing, they all inject themselves with a special serum to match Alpha's power and speed. They enter the ship where David meets Jenny. She begs for help, but David shoots her without hesitation. They move forward, killing every survivor they find on the ship. During this, we learn they know each other. Tom has the same mark on his body as Alpha does. We then flash back to years ago when David and his team kidnapped many people and performed superhuman experiments on them. Unfortunately, the experiment failed and they assumed everyone was dead, but Tom survived. This meant the experiment on him had succeeded. Tom somehow escaped from David's clutches and started a new life with a changed identity. Years later, Tom married a woman and they had a beautiful son. When David learned Tom was alive, he began hunting for him. One day, while Tom was away, David and his men broke into his home and brutally killed his wife and son. After losing his family, Tom was completely broken. He changed his identity and became a criminal to reach South Korea and take revenge on David. Just then, Alpha appears and attacks David's team. David injects himself with the serum to fight Alpha. After a long battle, David manages to overpower Alpha and kills him, ending his story. After killing Alpha, David immediately confronts Tom. A fierce fight breaks out between them. David reminds Tom how brutally he killed his family. Hearing this, Tom goes into a rage. He wounds David and throws him into the ocean. Tom jumps in after him and drowns him to death. Meanwhile, we see the director, the mastermind behind this entire experiment, running a secret project on an island. Here we learn that the director was also part of that experiment. Like Alpha, he is a superhuman. After gaining his powers, he formed a secret group and continued the experiment to build a superhuman army and rule the entire world. On this island, we also see a child. It is Tom's son. David didn't kill him that day because the boy inherited Tom's powers. He was the first naturally born superhuman, without any experiment needed. Meanwhile, Tom emerges from the water after killing David. His new goal is to find the director and kill him to stop this experiment forever. I hope you enjoyed today's story.